should be like you, Melvin.
Ultimate on-demand destination for the UK's best fan-led football podcasts.
Want authentic supporter insight on all things Bournemouth? Follow Up the Cherries in all departments on the TalkSport Fan Network.
Club-dedicated content created by the fans, for the fans.
Search TalkSport Fan Network.
Good morning, everybody. Of course, it's 8 a.m. in the UK. It's 7 p.m. in Australia. Well, part of Australia pulls in anyway. So, of course, that can only mean one thing. It's On the Sidelines with myself and my co-host, Paul. Paul, how you doing? Give us a weather update.
Well, Matt, we've had drizzle all day. And it's 16 degrees at the moment, so it's been pretty cool today, but it's a nice break from the heat that we've had, very unusual this time of the year. It could well have been 33 again, easy, but we've got this for the weekend, which is, it's a nice relief, it's good. How are you going with your weather, Matt? What's going on?
Well, do you know what? There's not a cloud in the sky here at the minute, and there's sun. And I've just been outside and it's quite chilly as well. So it's nice. It's pleasant.
Lovely.
It's pleasant. But I believe the rain's meant to be back tomorrow. Oh. And that's all we've had is rain, and more rain. So, yeah, I prefer days like this. Nice, sunny and cold. So, but yeah, excellent. Well, we've got quite a bit to talk about today, haven't we? We've also got one thing that we forgot to do last week, which we're also going to do again this week, but we forgot to reveal the answer to last week's Spot the Ball at the very end of the show. So last week's answer was B. So if you guessed last week, you were right, and you can see the ball in the picture there. So yeah, that was the answer to last week's questions, but no fear, we do have one for this week. And this is this week's Spot the Ball. So as you can see here, there's Jack Grealish and Tyler Adams. I believe it looks like Grealish is having a shot there, and Adams is trying to get a block in. So A, B, C, or D. Where do you think the ball is? And we will reveal all at the very end of the show. If both myself and Paul remember, hopefully we will. So if you're watching and you see us wrapping up the show and we haven't done it, put Spot the Ball straight into the comments.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the comments. Should we quickly move over to the comments, Paul, and say hello to everybody before we also have a special mention for somebody. Right, Vanessa is in. Good morning from us all. We are looking forward to the show. And as always, Vanessa, always a pleasure to have you guys with us. And Julie as well. Hope you're all well.
Hi, Julie.
David DeCosta, good morning, Matt and Paul, and all in the chat. 28 degrees and glorious sunshine here in Melbourne. I'm ready for another great show of footy and music. Yeah, we will be having our music feature at the very, very end. Show's got a bit of an FA Cup feel about it today. Yes, we know Bournemouth are out, unfortunately, but we're going to have a look at all the fixtures a bit later on, and also there's going to be a memory from Paul, who Paul just wants to go over. Bit bit of a memory from the 80s. So stay tuned for all that. Of course, it's Mr. Malcolm Shiverton. Myself and Malcolm did a cherry picking earlier on in the week. It's out now. I think come out yesterday morning, if I remember rightly, where we take a look at all the summer signings, how they settled in, and our new signings in the winter window as well. So, yeah, do check that out. But Mal was saying, good morning, Matt and Paul, and everyone in the chat. 0 degrees here this morning with a light covering of snow. Lovely. Well, I'd rather... well, actually, no, I'll quite take this weather at the minute, but I'd love a bit of snow as well. Chris Hubble's in the chat. Morning, Matt and Paul. Morning to you, Chris. Hope you're well, buddy. Julie Watkins.
Hi, Julie.
Yeah, saying good morning from us all. So, yeah, good morning to all you guys as well. Hey, the Wombats are in. Good morning, you two. Bring on another great show. Yeah, great to have you with us as always.
Might see you tomorrow, Johnny, if you're up and about. Good to see you on the show, mate.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, it's always great to have you with us. Malcolm's gone with D on Spot the Ball this week. So just quickly bring it up again. There we go. A, B, C, or D. So Malcolm's gone with D. Interesting one. Cool. John, just saying hi to my friend Paul from Young Johnny. Where's that?
Toowoomba.
North, south, no, New South
New
West.
South Wales, Australia.
New South Wales, right.
Yeah, that's down the south coast, mate. He'd have been down there with his grandson watching him play soccer. Tommy was down there as well, I think, playing soccer today. So.
Yes, I saw something on Instagram a little while ago from Tommy's page.
John, good to see you, mate. Lovely.
Excellent. Great to have you join us. Chris is going with A. Okay, awesome. Good guess, Chris. David's in. Morning all. Thank you for the weather forecast. Do you need my bank details to spot the pool prize? Possibly D this week.
Tell him I got them when I was over there. He didn't know, Matt, so I'll forward it on to you. We don't need his permission. It's all right.
Great to have you with us, Dave, as always. I love the music feature at the end. Yeah, we love doing that as well. And this one does have an FA Cup connection as well, which will all be revealed later on. And Colin's in. It's great to be with us, Colin.
Yeah. See you tomorrow, Col.
Excellent. Well, thank you to everybody that's watching. We had 5 likes when I last checked before we come on the show. So if you haven't already, do smash the likes. We do love it. But just as a special mention as well, Paul, I think there's somebody's special day today.
Yeah, there is, mate. My lifelong friend, Dave. Oh, look at that. That's great. Yeah, there was a DeCosta on the bench a couple of weeks ago for Bournemouth, wasn't there? I'm thinking sure it wasn't Dave, but with his
there was, yeah. There was, yeah.
But no, happy birthday, Dave. And you're a great mate. And I hope you have a lovely night tonight, Valentine's Day. Fancy being born on Valentine's Day. But yeah, happy birthday, mate. And I'm sure we all wish you the same.
Yeah, happy birthday, Dave. Yeah, definitely. And I'm sure he had a bit of a, special birthday present this week. Let's start with our first topic, shall we, Paul?
Yep.
And of course, that was time was called on Thomas Franks at Spurs. So interesting. I thought this guy was going to go. I thought he, honestly, my own personal opinion was I thought he would be gone as one of the first managerial casualties of the season, but he's managed to hold on till February. Recent results, obviously not what Spurs expect. They're now really, I suppose you can say, in some respects, they're now in a relegation battle. But yeah, not surprised, Paul. Are you?
No, and I'm looking at his watch. It's a beauty, isn't it? I wonder what sort of brand that would be. He might have to sell that now he's lost his job. But
I think it's got quite a strong clock face for all the tapping on it, I reckon.
A cracked one. Yeah. Look, I tell you what, it's really good having Dave from Melbourne as a viewer. He's a lifelong Spurs fan, and he sent me in a couple of things on here, which I'll read out very briefly. about actually what happened to Thomas Frank and his watch. He was sacked for poor results, basically. I think we all understand that. He only got 2 wins in the last 17 matches, which was incredibly poor. But apparently the board was split. Jonathan Lang and CEO, whose name I'll never pronounce, is Vinay Ventukesham, wanted him to stay, but the owners, the Lewis family, ordered him to be sacked. So that's interesting. So the board were actually split on whether to keep him or not. And allegedly, Dave has told me that Spurs players have got 5 days off, while the board have now picked an interim manager.
Yes, they have. Yeah.
Yeah, which we'll come on to very shortly.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll just keep going just a little bit. There's been a lot of bad feelings between the fans and the owners, the Lewis family. So eventually, I believe, or Dave's informed me, as I say, he is a lifelong Spurs supporter, so he should know. Eventually, they want Pochettino next season, and they feel once he's in place that wound will be healed between the board and the fans. So at the moment, they can't get Pochettino because he's currently coaching the American team for the World Cup. The new guy that they've brought in, as we know, is called Igor Tudor. Yeah, which is sounds like a horror movie or something, doesn't it? Igor Tudor. But, and I think I was watching a bit of a thing on Spurs this morning on YouTube, and the Spurs people on there were saying that their biggest fear was next week when they play Arsenal at home. If they really get flogged, then there's going to be a lot of people unsettled again about that game, because they're no pushover Arsenal, as we know. So that's what Dave has told me about that situation. Perhaps you'd like to add anything there, Matt? Or
it's just on the new guy, really.
Yeah.
Watching some bits on the new guy yesterday. So obviously he was sacked by Juventus, I believe, in October time. But when you look back at his career, I think he's had about 12 different coaching positions at various different manager, assistant manager, things like that.
Yep.
Seems to be a bit of a specialist to go into a club when they're on the down.
Yep.
So he's got a bit of a record there. I think he went in at Lazio, I think, when they had a few issues, things like that. So it looks like, obviously, in terms of an interim appointment, it sounds like a good one, because if he can go in there and salvage the season, obviously there's, it looks like definitely Europe's going to be out the case for next year, unfortunately. But yeah, I think the guy that they've appointed's the right one to kind of go in there, stabilise it, and sort of
right.
lay a foundation for a new man to come in. Will that be Poch?
Yeah.
Who knows?
That's the fans' favourite, Matt.
Yeah, he seems to be the favourite.
Yeah.
So, and I think when he was at Spurs, I think, really, I think they probably got rid of him when they shouldn't have done. I think they should have stuck with him, because he's a good, he is a good manager, and he was loved by the fans there as well. So I think, in terms of rebuilding board and relationship, sort of, rebuilding that, trust with the fans, I think appointing someone eventually like Poch will be the right one. But I think he's, in terms of Thomas Frank, and I think Dave hit the nail on the head here, because first of all, he's saying cheers for the birthday wishes, but he's saying it cost Spurs 10 million compensation for him and the staff from Brentford, and then 8 million payoff.
Oh, right.
So not a great return there. So when you see it from a financial point, I'm sure it's not impressive, is it? So
no, and also, I mean, the fat lady's not. I don't know if you're allowed to say that these days, but it's an old expression. But hasn't stopped singing yet, so we haven't seen the end of the story, have we? I mean, if they go down, it's going to be on for one and all that, with Forest involved in it. Who, again, we come on to Forest very briefly. 2 sackings in 24 hours. They sacked Dyche, and apparently, the story, or we all know the story, that apparently the players went to There we go. Look at that. Ready. Look at Matt. Well done, Matt. Apparently, they went behind Dyche's back and said that they were being overtrained, and they didn't like his tactics and stuff. And I can't pronounce that guy's name. Marinakis or whatever it is.
Marinakis, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah. Look at those pictures of the managers. This is going to be.
That picture there is all the managers that have been involved this season. Obviously, the Wolves manager there, Piera, he's apparently agreed to come in as head coach until the end of the season.
Yep.
So there's 4 well-known Premier League managers there.
Yep.
We all know what Dyche has done in the Premier League. Nuno, obviously, with Wolves, had that brief spell at Spurs as well, didn't he? And he's at West Ham. Amongst the battle with Forest now. Ange went in there for a short period of time. But the question is, are they doomed? I mean, everybody watching in the chat, what do you think? Let us know. Are Forest doomed? I think the thing is, if you put yourself in the players' shoes, you're a squad of players and you've now onto your 4th managerial change of the season and you're fighting the relegation battle.
Yeah.
It's got to be so difficult. Obviously, each manager's got their own philosophy and their own, their own tactics, their own ways of training. Obviously, that the players are saying Sean Dyche trained them too hard.
Yeah,
it's now they've got to get used to a 4th face in a relegation battle, and I think this might be just a little bit too much now. I think they may now be relegated. Well,
you know what, Matt? If you think about it a bit closer to home, and you think, how would we feel as Bournemouth fans if we'd just got our 4th manager this season and we were 3rd from bottom or 4th from bottom, flirting with relegation? You could just roll the dice between them, West Ham. There's a few down there, mate. Spurs. I can't believe I'm talking about Spurs. Relying on other people's results as well. But spot on, Matt. Yeah, spot on.
Yeah, and I think we're lucky at Bournemouth. Obviously, we've not had, many managerial changes over the years. We've not been part of what you'd call managerial merry-go-round like this one. We've been quite lucky at Bournemouth that, the managers we have had, yes, we have made changes over the years, but the managers that we have had, we've never been in a situation quite like this. But, I feel sorry for the fans. They're the ones I feel sorry for. Feel sorry for the players as well, because obviously getting used to different managers all the time. But yes, it's going to make a very interesting battle down there, isn't it, amongst West Ham, Forest, Spurs. I do think the other 2, unfortunately,
Leeds are in it.
Leeds down there as well. Yeah. So it'll be an interesting battle. I think the other 2 are gone, aren't they? Wolves and Burnley. I think that is definitely gone. I know it's not mathematically yet, but when you look at it from a realistic perspective, but who gets that last space? And I just think the turmoil there at Forest must be very, very difficult. And a great club with a great history. I'm sorry for the fans there, but should we move on to some Bournemouth news?
Sounds good, mate.
Some news this week. Of course, the Cherries legend, and his shirt is there behind me. And there's something not working here. But the Cherries legend, Adam Smith, he has signed an extension. He's now going to be with us until the end of the 26-27 season. Yep. Great news, really, for us. I mean, I'm a big Smithy fan, Paul. He puts in 110% every game, whether he's, starting or whether he comes on, off the bench. He's got the experience of being at the club for many, many years. I mean, he actually first played for the club in the time with the shirt I've got on here. Way back then. Yeah. He was on loan from Spurs. Bit of a Spurs connection today, isn't there? But he's grown up with the club as well, obviously rejoining us back in 2013-14 season, I think it was. And he's our top Premier League appearance holder. So, great servant to the club. And I think this is a really, really good signing, Paul. And at 34, he's still fit as a fiddle. He can keep up with, all the youngsters he's playing against.
Sure. A couple of things on Smithy before we move on. I think his positional sense is everything. With his experience, he knows exactly where he's meant to be at what time. And by using his experience there, that saves his legs a bit. And we mustn't forget, with Soler going down with a hamstring injury now, this is our cover at left back as well. Smithy is our cover at left back.
Yeah, of course.
I don't think we've got anybody else that can go there that I know of. But so if Trafford was to get injured, he's going to come in at left back. So we need Smithy for sure. Good stuff.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, the word legend can obviously be used, quite easily, but with players like Smithy, it's not. He's been there. He's played in, League One for us. He's played in the Championship with us. He's gone on that journey with us. So to make that amount of Premier League appearances as well, he's for me, he's in the legendary bracket.
You know what? I think they might find him a backroom job. I think when he does finally say, "Look,
I totally agree."
Yeah, he'll be involved at a youth level, perhaps.
I totally agree.
Yeah,
totally agree with you there, Paul. I think there will be some kind of position for Smithy when he retires, and so there should be. Absolutely, absolutely. Let's quickly jump back into the comments before we move on to the next bit. Happy birthday there from Malcolm to David, and also from Chris Hubble. Vanessa is going with B. Julie's going with B. Malcolm, a tough call. Who will go down? Have players down tools at Spurs and Forest? Yeah, that's a good question as well. I mean, how it affects the players with all these changes, it must cause some issues. But yeah, it is a tough call on who will go down, and obviously we're all going to be watching as the season comes to an end. And I think it's going to be a very, very fun. Well, not fun battle, but an interesting battle to watch down at the bottom of the league. There, Paul. Would you agree?
Definitely, and thank goodness we've got the points in the bag. I mean, 37 points.
Oh yeah.
Another draw, another win, we're done. Then we can concentrate, as Andoni said, about moving up the table, looking upwards, mate. That's what we want to do. And I'm jumping the gun, but I'm damn sure we're going to go to West Ham and win. I'm pretty sure of it. I think we can beat anybody at the moment. I don't care if the crowd are with them and everything's wonderful. Bring it on, mate. Bring it on. Definitely.
Yeah. Nice win on Tuesday against Everton. Yeah, it definitely was. We had our match reaction show, Cherry Slaps, on, was it Wednesday evening? Where, we discussed that. But yeah, it was a good win, wasn't it? Two good headers from Adley and from our new man, Ryan. Do you know what? I know at times in the game, little bit of patience and things like that. And I know there has been some talk of, we sat back a little bit after the second goal, against 10 men and all that. But overall, I thought it was a good performance, two good goals. With Ryan, he's just so tall, isn't he? You wouldn't want to be defending against him in the air.
No. I mean, you've seen him live, Matt. I haven't seen him live. I've only seen him on the TV, but and I have been to that ground. And I can tell you, those fans, I have, and it was great to watch. But the weather was diabolical again. Such bad weather. But we went up there, and it makes me wonder. I don't know what people think in the chat, whether Adley, if he'd have got through instead of getting taken out, and they got down to 10 men, whether he would have scored. I don't know, because I don't know, because what's the name in goal? I've got a blank on his name. Help me, the Everton keeper.
Pickford.
Yeah, I mean, England's number one. You never know, do you? But if we'd have gone through and he'd have scored that third goal, that would have been the end of it. It would have been all over. But we did struggle against 10, which was surprising.
Yeah. But a win's a win.
Oh, I love it.
On to the next one, which is obviously West Ham. Just need to have it next week. Do you know what? I think we will get a result up there.
Matt, there's a question I want to ask you.
Yeah.
You've been to West Ham's new ground.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't. I've only seen it. It looks awful from a spectator's point of view. With Andoni being banned for the next game, I know you're going to talk about it in a minute. If he's not on the touchline, how far away will he be from the touchline at that ground? Is there quite a distance further than other grounds when they sit in the stand? Where would he sit?
Well,
behind the dugout. Where would he be?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we're normally behind the goal, the away fans.
Yep.
And when you're on the lower tier, the view's not too bad. You are a little bit away from the pitch, but the view's not too bad. When you're up higher on the next tier above, that's when it's like, the view's not great. It's actually a better concert venue than it is a football venue. But where he's going to be sat exactly, I'm not too sure. It will be behind the dugout somewhere, but what level he's going to be on, I'm not too sure. But they will have all their earpieces. He can still communicate. Sure. I know it's a bit more difficult because he's not going to be there on the sidelines himself, but he can obviously still communicate with Cooper and Elflick, and I'm sure he will get his message across if he needs to. But he will be banned for that one. But we'll touch on that a little bit more very, very shortly. Mal, when players fall out with managers, they try their hardest to help them on their way. That's also a good point. David. Yeah, thanks to all those in the chat. We will be talking about FA Cup very shortly, and Paul's going to be talking about a memory from the FA Cup. So if you've got any memories from the FA Cup over the years, anything you've enjoyed watching, matches, Bournemouth related or non-Bournemouth related, do chuck them in the chat and we'll discuss them a little bit later on. But there is another sign-in as well, which was completed this week. Great, this is over the line. I mean, I love this guy. The passion he plays with as well is brilliant. A real... Is he, in terms of longevity, he's someone that could be that successor, long-term successor to Smithy. And he's also very versatile, Paul, as well. Obviously, he can play in that right wing back position. He can play, as a winger. Because obviously in his earlier days when he started at Real Madrid, he was a striker and they converted him into various different positions.
Was he? I didn't know that.
Yeah, wow. when he was at Real Madrid in the youth setup.
Right.
He was said to have been playing as a forward, as a striker. They then converted him to a winger,
right,
and so on, so on. So he's now obviously known as more as a right back, a very attacking right back, which we've had the pleasure of seeing this season. But yeah, a great deal for Bournemouth, and yet again another young up and coming player that we've managed to sign.
Capture. Yeah, I think he is only 20, isn't he?
Yeah.
He seems to, when he gets the ball deep in the Bournemouth half, he just seems to go on these mazy runs where he'll turn a couple of people inside and out, and then you think he's going to go to the right and he goes to the left, and he just mesmerizes them, which, I mean, doesn't always release the ball perhaps as soon as he should do, but I love him. I think he's brilliant. Yeah, great signing, Matt. Yeah, and as Malcolm says, what a signing. Agree with you totally, Malcolm. Yeah, I agree with you totally. And he's slotted straight in, isn't he?
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, you've seen him, Matt. Is he as exciting as he looks?
Yes, he is.
TV?
Yeah, he is. Yeah. I mean, when he scored against Liverpool, some of his family was sat just in front of us, and you could see, how proud they were. That was lovely to see when he scored, and how happy they were. And it must be great to come and watch, your son play in the Premier League or your family member. It must be great. But yeah, when you watch him, again, he's so focused on the attack, and his spatial awareness as well in terms of where the space is. I think it's very, very good. I think his delivery of the ball's got a lot better since he's been with us. If you go back and watch his earlier appearances for us, you think, a little bit like what Kirkes was when Kirkes first come to us. He was a bit rough around the edges. Now he's settled in. He just fits into our style perfectly. And like I say, with the versatility as well, he can play in different positions. That's also can help, as it has done recently with the injuries we've had. So yeah, like Chris has said here, great player for us.
He is, Chris. And you know what? I noticed in the Villa game, very briefly, within 2 minutes, he pushed Ollie Watkins in the back and sent him flying, and he really got him offside. And that would put any player off. You just got on the pitch and you're just kicking off and getting into the game, and somebody comes straight in your back and flattens you. He really upset Watkins, didn't he? Which was good, because you remember that? I don't know what he did, whether he tackled him from behind or pushed him in the back, and he took real offence about that. And I thought, good, wake the bloke up. We need a bit of that in there.
He's not scared to rough player up a bit, and kind of make him aware that
he's there.
He's defending against him. You know what I mean? Yeah. He's and I think I like that. I like that about a player. I like to have that little bit of fire. You got to control yourself. Don't get me wrong, but at the same time, when you've got that little bit of fire in your belly, and the passion. I mean, against Brighton, he did the same as well. And can't remember who he was put up against now. It'll come to me in a minute. But he's gone in for the tackle, ended the ball, and he's got right up in the player's face.
Love it.
And I think the player was doing something like that at him.
The Japanese guy for Brighton on the wing, Matata or
Matoma. I knew it would come back to me who the player was. Matoma. I mean, great to see. But glad it's done and over the line. And I think all of us have wanted this to be completed for a while. So and it's great to see that he's a permanent Cherries player now. And yes, Andoni then he is set for suspension after picking up his third yellow card of the season. So yes, he's set to serve a 1-game suspension after he was booked at Everton on Tuesday night. This was in the Daily Echo, meaning he will watch the Cherries trip to West Ham from the stands. So we've touched on this a little bit. Malcolm, Paul, Chris is in the chat. So many names. David. I get confused with names today. We've touched on this a little bit, and we Paul. But you know what? Like I've said, I think with Tommy and Sean on the bench, he's going to have his little earpiece, and he's going to communicate to him how he needs to. He will get his message across if he needs to. I know a manager prefers to be on the touchline because that's where you can be most animated. It must be hard to have to sit up in the stands and watch the game. How managers have ever done that? There used to be managers that used to start the game up in the stand. I know, because they got a view of the whole pitch and things like that. Something I've never understood why you would, having the passion on the touchline, isn't it? But so we won't see his passion on the touchline for the next game, but he will be back in the dugout for the following game, which is important. At least
at home I think it's at home to Sunderland.
At home to Sunderland. That is correct. Quick one in the comments. Great show, Matt and Paul from the Geordie in Newcastle, Australia.
This is Geordie boy. He's gone. Do you know where he's gone tonight? Very briefly, he's gone to Anita's in Thirroul. There's an ELO. What do they call them? Cover band there. There's a big ELO band doing their hits tonight. He's gone there tonight.
Wow. I have seen an ELO cover band actually here.
Have you?
It was joined with McCartney. It was called Lynn and McCartney, I think they were called, and they were fantastic, absolutely fantastic. But I love ELO stuff. I know Malcolm in the chat, he loves ELO. ELO, I think it's a very, very underrated band, ELO, and I think Jeff Lynne's a very, very underrated musician. He's a producer, musician. But we'll get onto a bit of music at the end. But yeah, great to have you with us, Darren. Should we take a look at the FA Cup fixtures, Paul?
Why not?
Have a little discussion on what we think was going to happen there. But first of all, let's hope I got the fixtures right this week. First of all, last night there was a couple of games. Hull City faced Chelsea. and they unfortunately lost 4-0. Chelsea were too strong for them in the end. I was flicking between both these games. Chelsea were just too strong for
Yeah, I'll just add something there about Hull, if that's all right, Matt.
Yeah.
Hull City, fourth. They're fourth in the Championship, and I was talking to somebody today, one of my mates, Wayne, he's a lifelong Hull City supporter, and he texted me and said that he noticed such a large gap between fourth in the Championship and where Chelsea are right at the top, and I totally agree. I agree with him totally. I remember when Bournemouth last got up to the Premier League, and I thought when they got in, I thought, wow, there's such a difference in the standard. When they got back up again, I've lost the season, what it was, 223, 222, was it? We come up, I don't know, I can't remember now. The last time we came up, I noticed the gap and I thought it's got worse. But I looked at that game and, yeah, true. I didn't see the first half, Malcolm, but I did hear.
I saw the Delap one when I was flicking through the game. I saw the Delap one. How he didn't convert that is beyond me. But sorry, back to you.
No, very briefly. The weather again was atrocious. They were sold out up there. But the weird thing was, in the last 3 minutes, they nearly scored twice. Hull, right at the end there, they had chances. The ball flying across the box and people missing the chances there. In the last 3 minutes, you could see they could have scored twice, which was just crazy. I don't know what happened with Chelsea, but watch that one. The other game went as predicted, I think, didn't it? Wrexham 1-0. And that's been 30 years since Wrexham have got in the round 5, which is crazy. But, those are the overnight games, Matt, and then we move on to Saturday's games. Would you like me to read them out, Matt, or you run a roll with that?
Yeah, that's fine. No, we do have Saturday's games here.
Lovely.
Some interesting ones here. I've got a couple of picks, but I'll let you take it away.
Yeah, well, I mean, going off the form book, I mean, Burton Albion, the first game against West Ham, who are we playing next week? So go Burton Albion. From Division 1, playing West Ham, obviously at the bottom of the Premier League down there. But it should be a no-brainer on that one. I think it's a big payday for Burton Albion, but at the same time, I can't see him beating West Ham. Matt, I don't know your thought on that. But.
Obviously, who knows with the FA Cup, but I think it would be unlikely. I think, like we say, West Ham have got a bit of momentum as well, haven't they?
Yep.
And we'll probably use this game as well to sort of maybe test a few things. So I think, on this one, West Ham would be too much for Burton.
I agree. Next one, Southampton, Leicester. I mean, in the week, just 3 or 4 days ago, you remember Leicester were at home and they were 3-0 up.
Yeah.
And the Saints came back to win 4-3.
Where does that sound familiar from?
It sounds like a bit of a... anyway, when we came back from 3-0 down against, and I've lost the team.
Luton.
Thank you. Yeah, against Luton. Yeah, that was Semenyo's game. That was a brilliant game he put in. Interesting there. I don't know. That could be an extra time job, that one. You don't know. But Leicester are going to be really down with losing 6 points in the league. Quite rightly that they should, I think, lose those 6 points. So for me, I'd be going with Saints narrowly, I think, on that one. What do you reckon, Matt?
Yeah, I think that's a game that could go either way.
It's going to be close, but they've got a home advantage, haven't they? So
I think, if I'm going to have to pick somebody, I'm going to go with Saints, unfortunately. I think Saints on that one. This is an interesting one, though. Next one.
Yeah, Burnley, Mansfield. Mansfield in Division 1. Burnley, obviously, down the bottom with West Ham in the Premier League. I mean, the form book says they have to win. But as you say, this is what the FA Cup's about, isn't it? Could be a penalty, send off.
I think this could be the one maybe that, if another Premier League team goes, this is the one I've got in mind that might happen here.
Wow. Yeah, amazing stuff. Next game, Norwich versus West Brom. If you were saying about boring games, to me that is the bore of the fixture list. I mean, they're both sort of mid-table, I think, aren't they, at the moment? Norwich and West Brom.
Yeah,
Perhaps West Brom may be a little bit higher, but
yeah,
I don't know. That's another one could go either way, isn't it?
yeah,
Could go either way.
yeah.
I'll go for an away win, Maddie. What do you reckon?
Yeah, yeah. Neither of them have had great seasons. They've not had seasons that they've started out to want to. They wanted to obviously be up in amongst the playoffs. Really, those two clubs. So, I'm going to go with a Norwich win.
All right, I'll go the other way, Matt. We'll see. I'll go.
Let's see.
Next game, Man City, Salford. It's almost unfair, isn't it?
I would love to see Salford do them.
Oh,
Wouldn't everybody love to see that? Salford, the connection with Manchester United here as well. So I'm sure there's going to be a lot of United fans back in Salford.
Good one.
So, wouldn't it be great today to see Man City 0, Salford 1, with an injury time winner? Can't see it happening, but wouldn't it be great? But yeah, unfortunately, I think City win this one, obviously.
Didn't they beat someone in... I mean, I felt so bad about that. It was embarrassing. Didn't they beat someone in the last round 10-0?
Yeah, they did. 2? Yeah, they did. Who was it?
I can't remember who it was. If anybody remembers in the chat.
9-1, something like that?
10-1, I think it was 10-1.
10-1.
Yeah, I think it was.
Who was it? Why am I thinking Walsall? It wasn't Walsall, was it? Who was it?
No, it was a Division 1.
In the chat, guys, I'm sure somebody remembers.
Yeah, someone put it in.
Exeter, there it is. Well done, Mal. I knew he'd be there. I knew he'd back. Yeah.
Interesting. I found out an interesting fact about this as well.
Yeah, go on.
At first, I thought Antoine Semenyo would be cup tied, but apparently he's cleared to play in this game. I thought he played for us in round 2. Perhaps Malcolm help us on that one.
Round 3.
I beg your pardon. Yeah, you're right. In round 3, I thought he would have played for us then, but apparently he's cleared to play. I don't know how they've managed to do that.
Yeah, because he actually no. He'd already left.
Had he?
He played for Man City.
Right.
He made his debut, didn't he, against Exeter, wasn't it?
You're right, and he got an assist and a goal. Quite right.
Yeah. So no, he was the one you're on about is the Carbarero Cup, where he played in the first or second round of that.
Right.
And then was cleared to play for Man City.
Yeah. Okay, you got it. Well done. Well done. Yeah.
Well, talking of Newcastle, Newcastle is going to be a tasty one, I think. I think this is a game Newcastle have got to win. I think for the pressure on Mr. Howe. But I think it's going to go Villa's way. What do you think on that one, Paul?
100%. Can't see it another outcome. It's there. Here we go. Antoine play. Yeah. Thanks, Malcolm. Yeah, I can't see it go any other way. I mean, Villa at home, they're a hard team to play against. I think Villa, as in the next game, straight through Liverpool, Brighton, got to be Liverpool.
This could be a tricky one, though.
Do you reckon what Liverpool, Brighton?
I think it could be a tricky one for Liverpool. Yeah, I mean, it'd be just Liverpool's luck, wouldn't it? They're 6th in the league. They should really be up there competing for the title. And then they get knocked out the cup. Brighton won't, lay down on this one. I think it's going to be, I think it's going to be a decent cup tie. I mean, Malcolm's just popped in here. Villa v Newcastle is the game I'm looking forward to. Should be a belter. Yeah, I shall be watching that one later, as my good lady wife is a Newcastle fan. So I shall be watching that one with her later. That's how we're spending our Valentine's Day evening, while watching football. So brilliant, a dream. Shall we look at Sunday?
Yeah,
you
sure.
want that? Yeah,
just briefly fly through it. We've got Birmingham kicking off against Leeds. I mean, obviously, with Birmingham being in the Championship and Leeds away, I think Leeds will have too much for him, mate. I think they'll have too much for him. What do you reckon, Maddie?
Yeah, I'd agree on that one.
Yeah, I think they will. Again, we've got Grimsby Wolves now. They could be an
Now,
upset. Yeah.
Grimsby
Even
do
though-
like Premier League side, don't they, Paul?
Yeah, even though Grimsby are in League Two,
Mm,
there's quite a difference between League Two and the Premier League, isn't there?
yeah, but
This could be a who knows with this one.
look what they did in the Carabao Cup back at the start of the season when they knocked out United at home.
Yeah, they've got long memories, mate. They'll remember that. Grimsby will remember that. Wolves will be aware of it. This could be a banana skin for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Next one,
Absolutely.
Oxford Sunderland. Unfortunately, I think Sunderland will win that one, Maddie. What do you reckon?
Yeah, probably. I would say. I know, Sunderland's got an excellent home form, but obviously they're the away side for Oxford.
Yeah.
With no real pressure on them in the league. I'm sure they need to get a few more points on the board to be, mathematically safe, as they say. But maybe they could be up for a little cup run now. Pressure's off. Maybe they could be up for a little cup run. So yeah, I'd go Sunderland on this one. Don't forget, we also got Stoke and Fulham, haven't we?
Yes, missed that one.
I think that one again, Fulham would be too strong for Stoke.
Yeah, Wilson's playing so well, isn't he? And he's out of contract at the end of the season. Harry Wilson. Yeah, his contract runs out, which is, if he's not signed, there's a reason he's not signed. But I don't know. I think he'd fit into a lot of teams in the Premier League. He's on form, isn't he? With his great left foot. But Fulham for me. Arsenal, Wigan, again, got to be Arsenal. I can't see any other outcome there, Matt.
No, I can't really. I can't. I'm sure Arteta will probably rotate the squad a bit because obviously now there's only 4 points between them and City in the title race. So obviously, he's got to manage players' game time. So I'd imagine there'd be quite a bit of movement. Obviously, Kepa will come in for Raya.
Yeah.
There'd be a few changes, but whatever side Arsenal put out today, they should easily overcome Wigan. But there's one more game as well, which is a biggie. Macclesfield versus Brentford. Now, last time out, Macclesfield knocked out the holders. And I think that was the biggest, probably the biggest, one of the biggest upsets of all time, because obviously Macclesfield are still in the, is it the Vanarama?
Northern Premier League. Yeah, Northern Premier League. Yeah, Northern Premier League, I think, the NPL.
Yeah, which was one of the biggest scalps of all time, wasn't it? So,
Brilliant.
but Brentford, have really impressed this season under Keith Alexander. They were a side that, I've put my hands up many times this season and said I tipped to go down, and I couldn't have been any more wrong. But I think Brentford will not edge this one. They should really beat them by probably a 2-goal margin on this at least.
The sad thing for clubs like Macclesfield in the Northern Premier League, playing a Premier League team like this, they know they're going to sell their ground out. I don't even know how many thousand Macclesfield Town's ground holds, but the sad thing is, if they could hold out for a draw, maybe 0-0 or 1-1, then they go to Brentford, they get another big payday. And I think that's a real bad call on behalf of the FA Cup, that they stop these smaller teams from getting a payday. I know it's at the expense of all the other games. I know that. I understand that. But if you're a Macclesfield supporter and you were there every week, rain or shine, stood behind the goal, and you drew with Brentford after 90 minutes, wouldn't you love to go to Brentford's ground and see them play there? And they've taken away all of that glory for teams like Macclesfield, which is a shame. I don't think it's in the right, what's the word? I don't know whether moral's the right word to use, but you know what I mean, don't you?
No, I totally agree with you. I think it's
sad.
It's unfair on these clubs like Macclesfield.
Yeah, it is. They've worked to get there. They've worked to get there. I mean, if the worst thing that could happen to Macclesfield is to go to penalties and lose. That's the worst thing that can happen to them. They'd have played their hearts out to get there, and then they get knocked out on a penalty. from penalty shootout. Just sad, but that's the FA Cup, mate. We move on.
It is, and yeah, like you say, we move on. But yeah, that's the FA Cup ties for this weekend. Yeah, going to be an exciting one, and yeah, it'd be great to see some Premier League teams go out. So good luck to them.
Grimsby will be an interesting one, mate.
Yeah, definitely. But as it is FA Cup weekend, we're going to just talk about a bit of a Bournemouth memory that Paul's got from years gone by. And we're going to take you back to, I think it is January 1984, if I remember rightly.
Yeah, January the 7th, 1980. Look at this. Look at the programme. Wow. January the 7th, 1984, 3 p.m. kickoff. Great big holes in the car park to walk through to get into the ground. And unbelievably, this is like 42 years ago last week. And I was there, probably in that picture on the left at the top where you can see the centre stand. I think that is up there. I would have been around that area for sure. And I was blessed to be there. It was Harry Redknapp's day, mate. Because at that period in time, I was a season ticket holder. So if you're a season ticket holder, as you know, you're guaranteed a seat. The programme on the right is interesting, 35p in those days. I know, it's amazing. 35p. I think I've got one in my cupboard somewhere, one of those. That's Ian Lee in goal there, and on the left, Phil Brignall. And on the right, your mate Trevor Morgan. But to get in, I worked it out. To get in was about £5 for the public to get into that game, £5. I mean, incredible game. They won 2-0, as we know. Milton Graham and Ian Thompson, 2 goals in 2 minutes, and the place just went mad. I just remember it as a full-on, from A to Z. It was just a chaotic day. From the minute you got in the ground, I mean, you had no chance of getting downstairs at half-time. It was just that packed. I mean, the attendance was 14,782, so nearly 15,000 there, Matt. And that is 3,500 more than you get at a Premier League match at the moment with the current space.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, how they got them in there, who knows? I mean, the team, again, where does the other 10,500 turn up from? Because their average attendance for that season, Bournemouth, was 4,200. So suddenly you've got another 10,500 people turn up. And it's how do I describe this in a nice way? It's the people that want to go to see Man United, because that was a top team. The Man United team, I don't know if you have a little run. I've got the names here, Matt. I didn't know if you had a team sheet there at all.
No.
Okay, I can read it out. I mean, we know these guys. Their names come straight away. The main players in that team: Ray Wilkins, England international; Brian Robson, former England captain; Norman Whiteside, Northern Ireland. Household names: Lou Macari, Scottish international; Frank Stapleton, Irish international. And they finished 4th in the first division that season, and Bournemouth finished 17th in the 4th division. Incredible, isn't it, what happened there? And in the next round, Bournemouth went out 2-0 at Middlesbrough in round 4, so they didn't get very far. It was just full-on chaotic day, I think. As I say, 2 goals in 2 minutes. Manager Ron Atkinson, I can distinctly remember what happened. He wouldn't let them leave the dressing room for an hour after the game. He was that infuriated and embarrassed by the whole thing. And I remember the papers from that time. As I say, Harry was the manager. I can remember it. Every newspaper, every back page, inside the back page, it was Bournemouth this. Because that was huge. That was a huge upset. No one expected it. Their reward apparently was £2,000 each as a bonus for winning that game. Plus Ian Lee, who is in the centre of the programme, the keeper there. Very small keeper, Ian Lee. He's about 5'9", 5'10", quite small for a keeper. Great goalie. I'm sure Malcolm will have a few memories of Ian Lee. He was offered by Harry Redknapp at Harry's restaurant in Charmont. Still La Lupa, used to be. La Lupa Italian restaurant. Yeah, I've been there. I used to go many times. I've been in there. I actually saw Harry in there. He was offered free pizza for life at the Looper if he kept a clean sheet, and plus they were all offered a free holiday, which never materialised. So there's something. So they got $2,000 each as a bonus, and only Ian Lee, for keeping a clean sheet, got free pizza for life, and they never got their holiday. But all in all, that went down in history, one of the biggest upsets of all time. And you know, it's amazing when I look back. I can't believe it was 42 years ago, but in another way I can, because it was that long. It was the days, as I say, of, you know, crumbling South End and nothing down the Brighton Beach End and great big holes in the car park. Those were the days, you know, and it always seemed to rain. But yeah, fabulous times for Bournemouth. And this is what cemented, I think, you know, the start of Harry's career. This is where he just took off. He was great for the team. Great day to be there, man. Loved every minute.
Yeah, no, definitely. And yeah, would love to have been there myself, but unfortunately I wasn't born then. But well, great memories, yeah. But you know, and not only that, I've actually got that game on DVD. So which I have watched a couple of times over the years. But yeah, when you look at it, it's a great memory to have. I remember my dad, you know, still says to this day that, you know, what a great upset at the time that was.
It was.
You know,
I mean, who would think a team that finished 17th in Division 4, who would think that they beat a team of internationals 2-0? I can't remember. Yeah, fabulous, mate. Oh, that's hi, Olivia. Adam's partner, Olivia, there, Sally Boo. But yeah, it was a great day, great time. We Bournemouth needed that. They needed that boost at that time, and Harry was the man. We all know how the story went with Harry. Everything went really good.
Yeah,
great day.
Yeah, great day. A nice bit of FA Cup history there. But before we wrap the show up, and before we do the answer to Spot the Ball, because we will remember, it's time for our music feature now, Paul, isn't it? And this week's music feature does have an FA Cup feel about it. And our band this week, you may have guessed by the title of the podcast this week, is Rocking All Over the Cup. But instead, these guys were rocking all over the world. And of course, that is the one and only Status Quo.
Yeah. Look at that hair. You'd like hair like that, wouldn't you, Matt?
Do you know what? I mean, I'm at a stage now where I need a haircut, and it gets too frustrating when it gets to this stage. I'd love to have grown my hair long at one point, but I can't deal with that middle stage.
Sorry?
I can't deal with the middle stage. You know.
Oh, right. Yeah, great hair. Yeah, love it. Those 70s.
Very 70s. Yeah. Status Quo. But what's the connection then with Status Quo and football? But let's, as always, have a little bit of background on the band. So Status Quo were founded by schoolboys Francis Rossi and Alan Lancaster in 1962. The band went through several name changes. Firstly, they were called the Scorpions, and a couple other names as well. I do remember the name Traffic Jam, though.
Yeah, they had apparently. But there was another band called Traffic, as we know, that were huge, with Hole in My Shoe, hits like Hole in My Shoe, Paper Sun, and they put in the legal issue, and they had to change from Traffic Jam because of the band. Traffic complained about it, put in a complaint about it. But yeah, I love the denim shirts, and I've still got shirts like that, Matt, and jeans like that. They're great, aren't they?
The Denim Quo.
Oh yeah,
Denim Quo look.
I love it. Yeah.
So yeah, they became Status Quo in 67. So and 69. Simply Status Quo in 69. Yeah, some name changes that they've had, but they had over 60 chart hits in the UK, with 22 reaching the top 10. They have more chart hits than any other rock band. The band has released 33 studio albums. We'll have a look at some of them very, very shortly, and over 100 singles. And there's a great picture there at the top. In 1985, they opened the historic Live Aid concert at Wembley Stadium with rocking all over the world. And I don't think there was more of an appropriate song to open that concert with, to be honest.
Very true.
Global concert, wasn't it? So
very true. Do you
great
know,
tune.
there's a quirky thing about Status Quo. You may have it on here. They never broke America. Their music never impacted America the way it did in Britain.
Wow, never knew that.
Yeah, they didn't do any good in America at all, which is surprising because 2 or 3 outstanding singles there that I love, which we'll come on to. But a lot of albums, I think 118 million sold worldwide. Wouldn't have sold much in America by the sound of it, but I know they were big in Australia, Status Quo.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, they spent over 415 weeks in the British singles chart, and they had 33 hit albums, and that is a feat that's only been exceeded by the Rolling Stones. So there's a stat for you.
Yeah.
But here's just a quick look at some of their albums. Obviously, myself and Paul have picked a few of our favourites, which we'll discuss at the end very quickly. But yes, I mean, Paul, that's just a body of work there that we could just talk about all day and all night.
Yeah, too much to go over, Matt. But there's some standout albums there, which I can see, which I like. I mean, you couldn't avoid Status Quo if you're English because they're on the radio all the time. And a lot of their early stuff, they were this band Status Quo appeared on English program, Top of the Pops.
Yeah,
it was huge.
More than any other act.
Yeah, it used to be on every Thursday night with all different DJs and stuff.
Yeah.
They made more appearances than any other band on Top of the Pops, and it was other bands. Their target was if you got onto Top of the Pops, you'd get a hit, and this band managed to get onto Top of the Pops more than any other band. So that's how they made a lot of their success through Top of the Pops, because kids just went out buying their singles. I mean, I bought some. I bought Pictures of Matchstick Men, which came out and whatever else. But great British band, rock band.
Yeah, definitely. But what a body of work that is there. So let's have a quick look then at the connection to football. So Rick Parfitt began his career in the early 1960s playing in pubs and holiday camps. He joined the Quo in 1967 when they were looking for an additional singer. He wrote songs for the band and remained with them for 49 years till his death in 2016. But which football team did Rick support? There's one for you. Which team did Rick support? Anybody in the chat wants to throw a couple of guesses in, please do. But we'll reveal it. Because time's against us. But Rick was a supporter of, a team that's been quite a theme of this show this week. Spurs. So let's have a look at Francis Rossi. OBE is the singer, songwriter, and founder, lead guitarist, and he's the only member to have stayed with Quo for the whole of Quo's existence. So he's not a massive football fan, but is said to follow a side, which I thought was quite interesting. And he follows Palace. Palace. He's said to follow Palace. So, and another member, Jeff Rich, he was Status Quo's drummer between 85 and 2000. But which football side does Jeff support? And he is also a follower of Spurs. So Spurs is the theme of this show this week. There's been a lot of talk about Spurs. But so some of the bands support some obviously London teams there. But this is the real football connection. They did an FA Cup final song. Come On You Reds with Manchester United's football squad in 1994. It was written and produced by Status Quo. It first entered the chart singles on the 30th of April 1994 and remained there for a total of 15 weeks, reaching a 2-week peak at number 1. The song is the only as of 2024, but I believe also as of now, club side football single to reach the number one on the UK chart. But however, Back Home in 1970 and The World in Motion in 1990, great song, World in Motion, love it, both topped the charts for the England national side. Song has reached number one in Denmark and was a top 10 hit in Ireland and Norway. So that's the connection there with Status Quo and football. There's something you don't get now, Paul, is it? Is football, FA Cup songs. I remember there being a few over the years, but it's not something that happens anymore, is it?
No, and it's funny you talk about Spurs being the theme of tonight. I can remember one, I think, with Gaza, and they were doing a Spurs song, and Dave from Melbourne will tell me the name of it, I'm sure. Northern Lights or something. I can't remember.
Oh, is this Ben Hoddle and Chris Waddle? Yeah, Diamond Lights. Yeah, Diamond Lights.
That's it. Yeah, I thought Gaza was in there somewhere, but Paul Gascoigne as well. But memory fades you, doesn't it, over stuff like that? But yeah, you're right. I think it's got to a point now where it's got a bit corny. I mean, all this, it's coming home and all this nonsense for England. I mean, I don't think it's ever going to come home, but until Eddie gets the job, Sir Eddie Howe gets the job. But, there's no way they're going to win the World Cup, just branching off completely different, which is coming up fast. But I've got 3 albums here, Matt, that I'm happy to give you a squiz, if you like. There's that's pretty. Oh, here we go. That's a vinyl. That's 12 gold bars. It's actually a best of, as you can imagine. And it's got a couple of my favourite songs on it: Caroline or Sweet Caroline, and Rockin' All Over the World. As you can see, the gold bars on the back. You can't quite focus on the titles there, but that's a good one. Yeah. That's got good stuff from Status Quo on. That's one. Another one here, that was 1977, that album came out. There's another one, Status Quo, Rockin' All Over the World, which is a great track. Rockin' All Over the World is a great track. It's
actually a cover, isn't it, Paul? Sorry, just very quickly. It's actually a cover version, isn't it? That's not the original.
Do you know, I couldn't tell you. But,
yeah, and I think the name is John, begins with an F. His name's John, is it Fogerty?
Oh, John Fogerty, Creedence Clearwater Revival.
Who actually did it originally or wrote it, one of the two.
Right.
I think he might have wrote it. But it was actually written by Quo, that one, I don't believe.
Right, it'll probably be John Fogerty from Creedence Clearwater Revival. He's one of the main survivors now. Tom Fogerty, his brother, died. Most of the band are gone now. Brilliant band. And the third one I've got, Matt, last one, is On the Level.
Yes.
Status Quo, and that's got Down, Down. The hit Down, Down. I'm not going to sing, but and that's Leapfold. That opens up lovely. Lots of history of Status Quo in that one. Good album, 1974. And I know that you brought along some stuff there, Maddie, have you, from Quo?
Yeah, I'm not as lucky as you to have vinyls, but I've actually got 3 Quo, and I've got one that I'm just going to chuck in at the end as a bit of an extra. But yeah, my picks there.
Before I forget, Matt, and get told off, I'll have to interrupt you for 10 seconds. I have to say thank you to Geordie Boy from Newcastle, Darren. He helped me with 2 of those albums because, believe it or not, through my collection I only had one. So thank you, Geordie Boy from Darren. I know he watches. And sorry, Matt, please go straight ahead. I would be in big
No worries. No. You've got to say your thank yous, Paul, definitely. Well, I'm not as lucky as you to have vinyl, but I do have this one, which is, if you can see there, Pile Driver. This one, some great ones on here. Roadhouse Blues, love that one. And there was Oh Baby on it. And my favourite one, Paper Plane.
Lovely.
So that's a great album. My other choice, don't know how well this will show up, but Hello.
Oh, yeah.
Great album. Roll Over, Lay Down, 4,500 Times, Caroline, Blue Eyed Lady. Some beautiful tracks on that one. So that's one of my go-to albums. I do like to chuck a live one in there. So my last Status Quo choice is this one here, Pictures, live in Montreux. This is a CD and a DVD album. So yeah, I mean, all the hits on there. You know, you've got Caroline the Wanderer, Don't Drive My Car, love that one. On an Island, love that one. Pictures of Matchstick Men as well. I don't know a lot about Quo sort of 60s, but I do like Pictures of Matchstick Men. But one extra one I'm going to throw in there.
Yep.
This album was completed after he'd passed away, but it's a brilliant album. It's got the likes of Brian May on there and a few others. Brian May, Alan Lancaster, who was the original bassist for Status Quo. And that is Over and Out by Rick Parfitt, which is a great album. So, yeah, some of my favourite musicians play on there as well. But, yeah, that's a brilliant listen. So, yeah, that's my choices.
Yeah, just talk about early stuff, you know, Pictures of Matchstick Men. I think that was their first hit. But they also had another great song that year, was called Like Ice in the Sun, which is another late 60s job. And that was a chart entry. That was pretty good, Like Ice in the Sun. A big British band, as you say, massive sales, but never made it in America. That's the history of Status Quo.
Which is great because I always learn something new as well when we do these bits, so it's great. But we're going to jump to the comments. Yeah, it's great. It's great what we learn, and obviously we'll be back next week as well with another musical act, which is a real favourite of mine. But that'll be all next week. Let's do Spot the Bull before we forget, before we wrap up. So here is Spot the Bull. Okay, so you had the choices of A, B, C, and D, and this week the bull was in position D. So I don't know how many people said D, but if you said D, you would be right. So that's the answer to Spot the Bull. Oh, and I do this every time. That's the answer to Spot the Bull. But we've got to round up now, guys. So just jump back into the comments. Great graphics. Cheers, Dave. Another mind-blowing show. Well done, chaps. Roll on next week. Great chat. Yeah, cheers for joining us, Dave. Have a great day, mate, as well. Colin, great show as always. Have to run, but we'll be back next week. See you tomorrow, Paul. Cheers for that, Colin. Brilliant show, guys. No better way to start Saturday morning. Cheers for that, Malcolm. Thanks for your support, buddy. Great show, Matt and Paul. Thank you, Chris. Murray, great show. Yeah, he loves the Quo as well.
I'll see you tomorrow. See you tomorrow, Murray. Yeah.
And great show. Cheers, Vanessa. Thanks to all the Watkins gang. Cheers, Julie. And watch out for that Geordie in Newcastle, Australia. Cool. Well, we've got to wrap up. We will be back next week. So yeah, as the famous two Ronnies would say, it's a goodbye from him. Is that
and a goodbye? Goodbye from him and a goodbye from me. But it's been a packed. He used to say it's a packed show tonight, and it has been. But up the cherries, mate. All the best, Matty.
See everybody next week.
So thank you, everybody. Subscribe.
Yeah, subscribe. Hit the notification bell. I'm glad someone's remembered to say it. And we'll see you next week.
Will do.
TalkSport Fan Network.
The ultimate on-demand destination for the UK's best fan-led football podcasts.
Want authentic supporter insight on all things Bournemouth? Follow Up the Cherries in all departments on the TalkSport Fan Network.
Club-dedicated content created by the fans, for the fans.
Search TalkSport Fan Network.
I should be like you, Mel.